Toby lived in a cozy house with a red door. He lived with his grandpa and grandma. Toby loved his grandparents very much. They always had time for Toby. Grandpa had a warm smile. Grandma gave the best hugs. Toby knew he was very lucky. Toby loved spending time with them. Sometimes they played games, sometimes they read stories. Every day felt like an adventure. Toby's heart was full of joy. Every morning, Toby woke up to the smell of pancakes. Grandma made the best pancakes in the world. After breakfast, Toby and Grandpa would go outside. They loved to explore the garden. Sometimes they would find ladybugs. Other times, they would watch the birds sing. Toby loved learning from his grandpa. Grandpa knew so much about nature. He taught Toby all about the plants and animals. One day, Toby and Grandpa were walking back from the garden. They saw their neighbor, Mrs. Gable. She was struggling to carry her groceries.
Can we help you, Mrs. Gable?
Of course you can, young man.
Toby and Grandpa carried the groceries for her. Mrs. Gable was very grateful. Toby loved Wednesdays. Wednesday was baking day with Grandma. Toby would sit on a stool in the kitchen. He would watch Grandma mix the batter. She always let him lick the spoon. The smell of freshly baked cookies filled the house. Toby and his grandparents would enjoy warm cookies with milk. They would talk and laugh. Baking day was always special.
Oh, Toby, you always make baking day so much fun.
Toby loved sunny days, but he didn't mind rainy days either. On rainy days, Toby and his grandparents would stay inside. They would cuddle up on the couch with blankets.
Grandpa would read stories aloud.
Toby loved listening to Grandpa's voice. He would close his eyes and imagine the story. Rainy days were perfect for snuggles and stories. Grandpa had a workshop in the backyard. It was a small, cozy space, filled with the scent of wood and the sound of tools clinking. The workshop was a haven of creativity and craftsmanship, a place where ideas came to life. It was Toby's favorite place to be. He loved spending time there, watching Grandpa work and learning new things. The workshop was like a magical world to him, full of endless possibilities and adventures. The workshop was filled with tools and gadgets. There were hammers, screwdrivers, saws, and all sorts of interesting devices. Each tool had its own special place, neatly organized and ready for use. Toby was fascinated by all the different tools and loved to ask Grandpa about them. Grandpa was very good with his hands. He could build, fix, and create almost anything. His hands were strong and skilled, moving with precision and care. Toby admired his grandpa's talent and hoped to be just as skilled one day. He could fix almost anything. Whether it was a broken chair, a leaky faucet, or a toy that needed mending, Grandpa always knew what to do. His workshop was a place where problems were solved and things were made better.
Grandpa was making a birdhouse. He carefully measured and cut the wood, making sure each piece was just right. Toby watched in awe as the birdhouse began to take shape. He let Toby help him paint it. Toby was thrilled to be a part of the project. He chose bright, cheerful colors and carefully applied the paint, making sure to cover every inch.
Toby was very careful. He took his time, making sure not to rush. He wanted the birdhouse to be perfect, just like Grandpa's other creations. He didn't want to drip any paint. He held the brush steady, concentrating hard. Grandpa watched with a smile, proud of Toby's dedication and effort. They hung the birdhouse up in a tree. It was a perfect spot, high enough to keep it safe from predators and close enough for Toby to watch. They stood back and admired their work, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Toby hoped a bird family would move in. He imagined little birds chirping and fluttering around, making the birdhouse their home. It was a wonderful feeling, knowing they had created something special together. Toby wasn't just kind to his grandparents. He was kind to everyone he met. At school, he always helped his classmates. He shared his toys and helped them with their work.
Toby's teachers always said he was a joy to have in class. He was always respectful and eager to learn.
Toby believed in being kind. He knew that small acts of kindness could make a big difference. One afternoon, Toby was walking home from school. He heard a faint mewing sound. He looked around and saw a tiny kitten. The kitten was all alone. It looked lost and scared. Toby picked up the kitten and gently petted it. The kitten purred softly. Toby knew he couldn't leave it there. He decided to take it home. Toby took the kitten home and showed it to his grandparents. He was so excited to introduce his new furry friend to them. His grandparents were equally thrilled to meet the tiny, adorable kitten. They could see the joy in Toby's eyes and knew this little creature would bring a lot of happiness into their home. They helped him give it some milk and a warm place to sleep. Toby's grandparents were experienced with pets and knew exactly what to do. They showed Toby how to gently hold the kitten and how to make sure she was comfortable. The kitten purred contentedly as she drank the milk, and Toby felt a warm sense of responsibility and love. Toby named the kitten Mittens. He thought the name was perfect because of her tiny white paws that looked like little mittens. Naming her made Toby feel even closer to his new pet. He whispered her name softly, and Mittens seemed to respond with a gentle meow, as if she knew she had found her forever home.
Oh, what a sweet little kitten, Toby. She's absolutely precious. You've done a wonderful job taking care of her already. Let's give her some milk. She must be hungry after her big adventure. Watching Mittens lap up the milk made everyone smile. It was clear that she was already feeling at home.
Mittens followed Toby everywhere. She was like his little shadow, always curious and playful. Whether Toby was doing his homework or playing in the yard, Mittens was right there with him. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Toby loved playing with Mittens. They would spend hours together, chasing after toys and exploring the house. Mittens brought a new level of fun and excitement to Toby's life. He loved watching her pounce and play, her tiny paws batting at everything that moved. He even shared his toys with her. Toby would often find new ways to entertain Mittens, using his own toys to create little games for her. It was a joy to see how much fun they had together. Toby felt proud to be Mittens' caretaker and best friend. Toby was so happy to have found Mittens. She brought so much joy and laughter into his life. Every day was an adventure with her by his side. Toby couldn't imagine life without his beloved kitten. He knew he had given her a loving home. Toby felt a deep sense of fulfillment knowing that Mittens was safe, happy, and loved. Their home was now filled with the sound of purring and the sight of a playful kitten, making every moment special. As the sun began to set, Toby and his grandparents would gather in the living room. The warm glow of the fireplace filled the room. Toby would sit on the rug and play with Mittens.
These evenings are so peaceful, aren't they?
Grandma would knit and Grandpa would read his newspaper. They enjoyed each other's company. Toby loved these peaceful evenings. He felt loved and safe. Toby knew he was lucky to have such wonderful grandparents. They had always been there for him, from the time he was a little boy, offering their love and support unconditionally. Their home was a place of warmth and comfort, filled with laughter and stories of the past. He loved them more than words could say. Every hug, every shared meal, every bedtime story was a testament to the deep bond they shared. Toby felt a sense of belonging and security whenever he was with them. He showed them his love by being kind and helpful, whether it was helping his grandmother in the garden or assisting his grandfather with small repairs around the house. Toby took pride in being there for them. He knew that these small acts of kindness were his way of giving back for all the love they had shown him.
We love you too, Toby. Their words were always filled with warmth and sincerity. They never missed an opportunity to remind him of how much he meant to them. You make our days so bright. Toby's presence was like a ray of sunshine in their lives. His laughter, his curiosity, and his youthful energy brought joy and vitality to their home.
Toby knew that family was a precious gift. He understood that the love and support of his grandparents were treasures that not everyone was fortunate enough to have. Their hugs were like a shield, protecting him from the worries of the world. He cherished every moment he had with his grandparents, from playing board games on rainy afternoons to listening to his grandfather's tales of adventure. Every second spent with them was a memory he held close to his heart. They had taught him so much about life and love. Their wisdom was a guiding light, helping him navigate the challenges of growing up. They taught him the importance of kindness, patience, and resilience. Toby's heart was full of gratitude. He often found himself reflecting on how lucky he was to have such wonderful role models. He knew that their love and guidance had shaped him into the person he was becoming, and for that, he was eternally thankful.